You know how there's a conversation that you need to have with somebody that could clearly be resolved if the both of you just sat down and actually had a discussion? Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Welcome to the Save the Good Girl podcast, everybody. I am your host that does the most that deserves a toast, Erica E. Oh, that was so dramatic. For those who don't know me, please welcome into your first luxury listening experience. This is like walking into Chanel, but for your ears. You know what I mean? That's what you deserve. You deserve really great quality content, and that is what Save the Good Girl is going to give you. So here's the thing. In order to have this luxurious experience, you need to be in VIP. And in order to be in VIP, all you need to do is go to savethegoodgirl.com, enter your email address, and you are going to get beautifully crafted newsletters made by me. And in addition to this wonderful audio, I got visuals, boo. I got the visuals. They are released on social media. So you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Pinterest, or on TikTok. Check me out. I have journals. I have when I travel, when I have my coffee, anything that's soft and light and easy and positive and encouraging, that content will definitely be on there. So here's the thing. You are listening to a special edition of the Save the Good Girl podcast. So I have two episodes. I have my full episodes and my short ones. This is the SOE edition, and SOE stands for Shot of Erica. So Shot of Erica is just like your shot of tequila, green juice, or espresso. It gets you exactly where you need to be in a short period of time. I do the same thing, but for your mind, okay? These episodes are no more than 20 minutes, boo. 20 minutes and we're done. Get you what you need to do. Get you where you need to go. I said, get you what you need to do. What was that? Get you where you need to go and have you, think about something in a different way, shift your perspective, and then you can go about your day. That sounds great to me. 20 minutes is nothing. Unfortunately, we're living at a time where people don't have any attention span, but you do. So that's the thing. This is attracting a different type of person. You definitely do. You want to live a better life. And how can we live a good life with conflict? How can we do that, right? That is not peaceful. So I wanted to talk about how do we handle conflict with the C.A.R method, C.A.R method. Now, I do want to ensure to you guys that I made the C.A.R method up, and I'm going to explain what that is shortly. But I really wanted to talk about conflict because, we're all about living a luxurious life, a soft life, a life with ease as much as we possibly can. Because, life is not easy. We're going to have some situations, some conflicts, some pain, some disagreements, heartbreak. We're going to have all of those things. But for the most part, right, how do we really live in a way that we feel excited about? We feel inspired. We feel good. We feel healthy. We feel like we're growing. We're evolving. Like, how do we live a life like that? Having conflict does not align with what we got going on, but it's going to happen. So sometimes, right, you can have a disagreement with somebody or an argument. It's going to happen because we don't have the same mind. We don't believe in the same things. We don't have the same values. We don't have the exact same upbringing in our lives. We have seen different things. We've been in different places. So naturally, there's going to be some conflict. It's a normal thing. Friends argue, families argue, spouse argue. Like, everybody has a disagreement here and there, and that's fine. But I think sometimes it can get to a place where the other person or you might have been the person that is disrespected, or you have disrespected somebody, or you could just be very upset, or sometimes things can just be misinterpreted. I don't like texting. I'm not a fan of texting because people create their own voices of how you're texting in their heads, and that really causes additional conflict. And it's like, I didn't mean to say it like that. Like, that's not how I said it. So for me, usually when I feel like there's a bit of like tension while I'm texting, I will send you a voice note or I will talk to you on the phone, because I just feel like texting just makes things a bit worse, in my opinion, especially when you start to put exclamation points and then you start doing things in cap. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're really upset. You're really mad. And I'm taking it this way. So it just causes a lot of issues. And I just feel like when you have those conflicts with people, when you have conflicts with your family, with your friends, with your spouse, what tends to happen if it's not resolved is that you are going to hold a grudge. And a grudge is not necessary. It's really not. And here's the reasons why. According to Healthline, what happens when you hold a grudge is that you become more pessimistic, which is not good for your health, right? It's not good for your health for you to be angry, walking around all upset like that. You're not as positive. You're always going to be cynical. You're always going to be a pessimistic person and go to the worst option because of how someone has hurt you. Now, we all have been hurt, and getting hurt is a traumatic experience. So, in order for us to protect ourselves and ensure that we don't get hurt again, we do certain things to try to protect ourselves, but sometimes it just ends up actually making it worse. And that's why it's important to identify and understand the level of that hurt, because you have to move past it somehow. And not for the person, but for you. Forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person. It has everything to do with how you are deciding how you want to move forward. Also, when you are holding a grudge, you isolate yourself. It affects your mental health. It adds to your stress. But it's like, sometimes, do you even know why you're upset? You realize that we don't have that much time here. We are living our lives to the best of our ability. But the reality is, like, holding a grudge, sometimes the things that I hear that people are upset about, it's so dumb to me. It's like, wait, what? Wait, why? So this happened back then, and I get it. I'm not trying to make light. Like, if somebody says something really hurtful to you, I'm not saying that's okay. I'm not saying that certain things people do are okay. What I'm saying is forgiveness has to be for you, never for the other person. Handling conflicts with people, though, really it provides a different level of peace, because I did an episode last week, and I talked about, what was the episode? I talked about attention seeker. I talked about attention seeker. Actually, that was 2 weeks ago. I talked about attention seeker and how we need to give the right areas of our lives attention. And sometimes when you hold a grudge and you're really upset with somebody, that does crowd your mind. And anytime that person's name come up, your whole body change, your whole attitude change. You're negative, you're upset because what's happened, you're ruminating, you're thinking about what happened instead of moving forward and letting it be and letting it go. So it's so important to become self-aware of what is really bothering you, what happened, like to get to the core of it. Because I feel like sometimes a lot of issues with conflicts is that it remains on a surface level. But if you dig deeper, right? Why is it that this affected you this much for this long? What was it? Now, I know there's a lot of things that happens in life. I'm not oblivious, I know. But I'm just saying, forgiveness is not for them. Forgiveness is for us. So I just feel I know for me, right? I had conflict with somebody, and I remember I was so upset. I was so upset with this person. I didn't want to talk to them. And I'm not going to lie. When I was younger, I didn't handle conflict well. If you made me upset, I didn't want to talk to you, and I'm done. And if I did talk to you, I'm yelling and cursing at you. So then you're yelling and cursing at me. So we're not really getting anywhere, right? It didn't really resolve anything. Or if the person did apologize, I was just so angry that even if I was calm, it's kind of like I accepted it, in person, but like internally I didn't, right? So I'm still like, I'm good on you, right? Now, I do believe that sometimes with certain people, distance is necessary, but it doesn't mean you don't have to forgive them to move forward. I believe you can forgive and move forward. Sometimes we cannot hold people hostage to how they used to be. We all grow. I am not the same person I was when I was 19. I'm not. When I was 19, the way that I handled conflict was not really mature all the time, you know? I would just be upset and I would assume that people would know why I'm upset. And a lot of the times my friends really didn't know. They're like, "Why is she upset? Like, why is she mad at us?" You know? That wasn't the best way to handle conflict. Or I would jump to conclusions, or I would just feel like, "Well, you did this and you did that because of this." Like, I would give you a reason as to why you did something wrong, and that's not okay. So I think also, depending on the severity of what happened between you and this person, you cannot hold somebody hostage to who they used to be. And unfortunately, we all are a victim of doing that. Somebody did something 15 years ago and we're like, "Well, you know, this person is like this." And it's like, do you really know? Because that person probably went through a lot of changes in life and they're not that same person. This is exactly why people outgrow people, because people really think they're the same. And it's like, we're not the same. We're not meant to be the same. Evolution is real. We're not meant to be the same. You are not the same person you were when you were 10 or 13. As you start to experience life, your whole views on things change. Like recently for me, I cannot stand people complaining about dumb things. I don't want to hear it. When you've witnessed somebody, going through a life change in terms of dying, and you watch somebody go through cancer, and you got people talking about, "Oh my God, I can't. So my whole view on that changes. And I'm not saying you can't be tired. I'm not saying you can't have a rough day. I'm not saying you can't have a rough week. But there are some people, they live in that complaint. And it's like, nah, I can't do that. So you start to change. So if you're changing, what about the other person? This is why I feel like, right? I developed the C.A.R method because I was talking to somebody and I told this person that if this person that I have an issue with calls me today, I would answer the phone. And they're like, "Really?" I said, "Yes, I would. I would answer the phone because I am okay to have a conversation. I feel like I will always grant someone a conversation. It doesn't mean we're friends. It doesn't mean I'm going to hang out with you. It doesn't mean we're going to be back to normal. It doesn't mean I'm going to talk to you on the phone. It doesn't mean I'm going to share my business with you or hear yours. I'm just saying that I am willing to have a conversation for 3 reasons. The C.A.R method, which is clarify. Sometimes we need to get some understanding of what happened. So let's give each other the opportunity to clarify what we meant. Why do we say this? Why do we do that? Why do we feel that way? What happened, right? I give you the opportunity to share your emotions and you can hear mine. So clarify. Clarify is for C. For A, for the C.A.R method, for A is apologize. Maybe I did something wrong. Give me the opportunity to apologize to you, or maybe you want to apologize to me after some time of thinking, right? So I feel like, how do we do that? How can that even happen if we don't open the space for it? I think a lot of times people may want to say something, but they don't know how, because the other person is so rigid and so rough and they shut the door. And you should always have an open door policy, depending on the situation. Have an open door policy for people, because why not? And then R is rectify. So to rectify is to move, right? To correct. So it's like, if I'm rectifying something, I'm rectifying the problem. I'm trying to find a solution. So I feel like when you're driving your car, the car gets you to a destination. And that's why I call it the C.A.R method, because I've always said this. I'm always going to give somebody the opportunity to clarify, apologize, or rectify. I'm going to give you that chance. It doesn't mean that things are going to be normal, but it means that I'm willing to be an adult. I'm willing to talk and I'm willing to listen. I'm willing for us to have an understanding, because I cannot tell y'all how many times after I've spoken to somebody and they told me, what they thought the situation was. And then I'm like, really? I didn't see it that way. And they didn't see how I felt in my way. And then after we discussed it, we were good. I also think that you would be very surprised to see what actually comes out of this, right? Because there's been many situations, at least on my side, where I've had some really deep conversations with people. I'm talking about, like, I was done with the situation. I'm like, I'm good, right? And not even a negative way. Like, I'm good. I'm not mad or anything. I'm not like, I hate you. I'm just good. I'm good. But, we had this conversation The person was able to clarify exactly why they did what they did. They also acknowledged and took accountability for what they did. And I think that also helps as well, because sometimes we got to take accountability. So I can say, yeah, you know what? I did overreact in that way, and I apologize for that. And the person could say, well, I also did X, Y, and Z, and I could apologize for that. It gives you the opportunity to talk. It gives you the opportunity to see each other's perspectives. It gives you the opportunity to move on peacefully. I strongly believe that life is so interesting and life is so short and fragile. There is no reason for someone to not have the opportunity to explain their side. And then you can move on from there. It is not going to change what happened. It is not going to change how you felt at the time. It still may hurt you, even if you did accept the apology. It still may hurt you from what this person has done to you, what they have said to you, how they have treated you. It still may hurt. But I think that giving the person the opportunity to talk to you and you speak to them, and having that open space can do so much. Like so much. I will talk to anybody right now. Anybody that has a problem with me, if you're like, listen, can we have a conversation? I will answer the phone. I will say yes. I will say yes. Because people change, people grow, and sometimes you need some time to really think about what you've done and how you feel and how you came across. And maybe you were going through something. You know, when people go through things, they take that trauma and they put that on other people. All of these things happen. I'm not making excuses. I'm just being real, right? So I can talk to you. I can listen to you. I can have a conversation with you. We could actually be cool again. We could actually, get a coffee or get tea or something. Or we could decide that, all right, it's all good. I'm not mad at you. Thank you for the conversation, but I'm good. I think also it gets to a point where you just don't want certain people in your life, and that's okay as well. This episode is not to coerce you, right? To just be buddy-buddy with everybody, because, it's just that's just not realistic. This is really to encourage you to offer and to receive, right? Having a conversation, because that could really help. And if it's been on your mind to have that talk with somebody, I think you should do it. I think you would be surprised in what they say. You would be surprised in what they acknowledge. I recently had a conversation with a friend, and, based on our conflict and what she shared, I was very proud of her to see that she really acknowledged, her parts in the situation that we had going on. I really was. And I made it clear to her, like, I love you, right? I love you as a person. I really appreciate you. Whatever you did has nothing to do with your character. I'm able to distinguish between what somebody's doing in their character. Somebody could do some real messed up things to me, but I'm like, nah, this person really is a good person though. I don't know what's going on in that moment, but this person is a good person. And I think, unfortunately, when people make mistakes, we categorize them as a full villain, and that's not normal, because you're not perfect either. I'm not perfect. So I hope this is very encouraging for you guys to utilize the C.A.R method. Give the person the opportunity to clarify, apologize, or rectify, or you can create an opportunity for yourself so that you can clarify, you can apologize, and you can rectify, because maybe you were in the wrong. Maybe after some thought, you're like, you know what? I could have handled this better. I didn't have to go in like that. I didn't have to send her those messages like that. And I will also say, when you are handling conflict, please don't do it via text. I wouldn't recommend it. Please don't. If you don't like to do voice notes, I would suggest a phone call. If you don't like the phone call, I always think the best way is to do it in person or a Zoom call, but not through text. Texting can be way too confusing. So I wouldn't recommend that. But I want you guys to really think about that. Think about conflicts you have in your life. Think about, is it possible for you to open the lines for a conversation? Or is it possible for you to open the lines of forgiveness within yourself and within your heart? Can we work on that? Because we can't harp on this for too long. You got people who are 75 years old still holding a grudge. Why? Let it go. Life is meant to be lived, and people are going to make mistakes, and so are we. And we got to forgive ourselves and forgive others. That's my stance, boo. So here's the thing. We're done, and I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear your feedback. Please go to savethegirlgirl.com, go to the contact section, send me a message there, or send me DMs on social media. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope you really think about resolving that conflict. We can do it. We can do it. Forgiveness is great. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.